coming tonight to learn more about Moms Demand Action. So I'm going to say a few things, and then I'm going to pass the floor to Molly. And Molly's going to explain what Moms Demand Action is and how you can get involved. So I'm just here to encourage you to try to move forward past the meeting. Okay. So first of all, I woke up and I was thrilled to see the sunshine. Only a few minutes later, like many of you, the familiar pit entered my stomach when I received the alert that 3 miles from here, neighborhoods and schools were told to shelter in place because there were armed gunmen possibly in the neighborhood. I didn't know the whole story, but I knew I had to go to school, and I knew my kids would know. 45 minutes later, I was sitting in a circle with my class, just like we do every morning, reporting on how we feel. This is an everyday event for all of us. Today, I heard the following. My tummy hurts because my neighborhood was in lockdown this morning as we're trying to get ready for school. Someone said they're bank robbers with guns really close by. Once again, reports that should have been, I went to a birthday party this weekend, have been turned to fear. This week alone, our kids have heard about Yountville and now this. I spent my entire day teaching with an uneasiness that was scary and unsettling. Days like today are a very clear reminder that our nation's gun laws and mental health services are not working. I saw Hamilton last month, and one line that stuck out to me the most was, "This is not a moment, it's a movement." While this moment is unbelievable, and I cannot express what it means to me as a teacher and a mom to have you all in this little backyard of mine, it's just one little moment in time. The movement that we all need to continue to focus on is helping to move the nation's gun crisis to a place where our children are safe and where we're all safe. We will not all 100% agree on everything that we hear tonight, and that is okay. But I do know that we all agree it's not acceptable to have our children leave for school and not return because they've been shot and killed in another mass shooting. It's not acceptable for us to fear going to movies, churches, concerts, nightclubs, the post office, restaurants, or to take a walk down the street. It's not acceptable, and I feel done accepting it. After the Florida shooting, I knew my time as a bystander was up. I felt it in my core. I was at a loss of where to go and what to do. I just knew that I felt so sad. For a long time, I felt so sorry for them and those families. The Florida shooting made me realize that my sorrow had shifted to feeling pain for us and our families. I heard about Moms Demand Action in a Sausalito event. I sent out about 10 texts to my partners in crime to have someone come with me, and nobody could come. I had an internal argument for quite a while as to whether I'd go or not. I'm not used to going places alone, and I really don't like it. My insecurity almost got the best of me. Almost. I turned on the TV and I saw and I heard Lori, the mother of a 14-year-old Alyssa, who was shot and killed the day before, and she was screaming into the TV, "Do something. Please do something." So I went to the meeting and I went alone, and I was so glad that I did. As the numbers for this event grew, I got a lot of questions about the size of my house and how we'd all fit. I got a lot of suggestions on places that we could possibly donate rooms to us or give us a discounted rate. While I so appreciated all of the suggestions, I chose to hold off on finding a more comfortable place for us to meet. I know this is not ideal, but I chose it for a reason. I wanted to show all of us, myself included, that many of the details we're worried about as moms don't matter when it comes to the issue of assault weapons and mass shootings. I knew this would be tight, and I knew we'd be crunched for time, and I knew there'd probably be dog poop somewhere in my yard, and I knew my house might be a mess, and I knew we'd probably be chilly. And I have prayed every single day for no rain. But I made an internal decision to let those insecurities not get in my way. I know what I need, and I know what we all need, and that is each other. So I chose to keep this grassroots style for a reason. We are a bunch of moms sitting chilly in a backyard, and still we can move mountains. I am here for Ryan and Cade. I'm here for my kids, and when I say my kids, I mean my students. I'm here for all the kids. They are scared. This year I have witnessed a change in my class. We have fire drills, and that's nothing new. Kids are used to them. The way too loud alarm goes off. Kids put their hands on their ears. They begin complaining about how loud it is. We grab the red backpack. We head to the playground, while the entire time I'm having to shush them from talking and giggling. It's just like when we did drills as kids. Well, later this year came our first lockdown drill. I didn't warn them about it. Our principal's voice came over the loudspeaker to lock down for a drill, and the class went silent. I turned my back to close and lock the nearest door, and when I turned back around, I saw 2 other kids closing the other doors, 3 kids pulling the blinds, 1 kid putting a leash on our dog, and a child headed to turn off the lights. Everything happened without one word from me. Everything happened without a word or a giggle from them. The whole class took their spots on the rug out of sight, and not one word was spoken. They were not messing around at all. There was an eerie seriousness on all their faces, one that I've never seen before. And then the waiting begins. Every ounce of what is inside a teacher wants to check the doors just one more time to make sure they're locked. But you can't. By opening a door, you can risk the lives of every single child in your room. Do you know that if there was an actual lockdown situation in schools, that once our kids are in our doors and they're locked, we are not supposed to open the door under any circumstances? Even if that means a child did not make it into a classroom and is pleading at the door, we are told we are not to open the door. Can you imagine that situation that puts us in? We can't risk one life for every child behind the closed door, so we have to keep it closed. So then the lockdown drill goes on, and you continue to wait. And at first, the silence is shocking. You can hear a pin drop. And then from the distance, you start to hear the banging of the doors and the turning of the door handles. And you know your room is coming next, and you know your door will be checked. And again, the panic of the locked door sets in. Minutes are very, very long during these drills. There's no whispering from the kids. There is no giggling. They all just sit there on the rug, huddled up, waiting for the all clear. Every time my wing doors are checked with a jiggle of a handle during a drill, my heart skips a beat. And this is a drill. Our kids are stoic. They are so strong. And although every single one of us has told them they're safe, they know. They know that we're scared. They hear us talk to each other. They hear the news. They're blasted with school shootings on social media. They talk about it with each other, and they talk about it with me all the time. It does not matter what you do, but we must act. I, like many of you who feel the not so flattering thoughts of, what do I have to offer? Well, I decided on my ride home from Sausalito that I have the gift of connection to offer. I can rally the best of us. So that's what I went with, and here we are. My message is for you to find your place with this horrible senseless gun epidemic and make your mark. All of our pieces will come together, and we will make a difference. I felt an instant sense of power after the Moms Demand Action meeting. At the meeting, I realized that we all have different strengths. There is room for all of us in Moms Demand Action. There are those of us who are really good at marching. There are those of us who are really good at researching issues. And there are those of us who are really good at sending postcards and writing letters. There are those of us who are well educated about political candidates and issues. There are those of us who are good at posting important issues on Facebook. There are those of us that are ready to drive to Sacramento, and there's those of us who are ready to fly to Washington. I made a conscious decision to not tie this evening's event to Gustafson Court with my job on Sutro Avenue. My job as a teacher is to love and to protect and educate my students no matter what. No matter what includes whatever their parents' beliefs are about politics and gun control. Many kids I've heard about tonight have asked me questions. My response to them is, and for days to come will be, I'll do whatever it takes to make you feel safe when you're in my care. The last thing I want for my students is to feel judged by me because of different family beliefs. So for now, I stand before you as Liz. I'm sure somewhere along the way, Mrs. Nelson will be asked to respond to a call for action, but right now, Liz is the one who's available. I will never let any of this mess that we've gotten ourselves into spill into my job and our kids. And when I say my kids, I mean your kids and my kids. So Molly's going to speak now, and as she fills you in about Moms Demand Action, my hope is that something sparks you to continue past tonight and you're finding your way to make a change. Thanks, you guys.
Woo!